Hello, I'm Norm Warner and these are Norm's Real Estate Tips. Today I have with me Renee Cooper. Renee is an attorney and an underwriter of Title Connect LLC, which is a Farmington Hills-based title insurance agency. First off, Renee, tell us what a title insurance underwriter does and why you need title insurance.
An underwriter for a title agency, such as Title Connect, we perform the curative measures to ultimately convey marketable title to the new purchaser. And by curative measure, I mean anything that shows up as a defect on title, we will do whatever is necessary to cure that defect, whether it be prepare a new deed, prepare some type of a release, or obtain a release, or something of that nature. And title insurance is important as an owner because when you purchase property, there are so many things that have happened prior to you purchasing that property. And a title insurance policy will protect you from any potential claims from any prior owners or heirs. And unlike regular insurance for your home or for health, which covers you from the date you purchase the policy forward, title insurance protects you from the date you receive the property backward. So anything that could have happened, the last, 40 years or so, you are covered from any claims from those potential owners.
Well, great. What are some of the common title issues or title defects that you run into?
There are several, in the residential side, there are several defects that we run into. The most common, I would say, is an undischarged mortgage from a prior owner.
How does that happen?
A lot of times, the bank, once they receive a payoff for a mortgage, it is the bank's responsibility to follow up and record that discharge with the Registry of Deeds. And a lot of times that is not done. So when the purchaser goes to sell that property, that undischarged mortgage is still out there. And so it's up to the agent then to cure that before they can provide the new purchaser with marketable title.
Great. I think in the industry we call these clouds on title. What are some of the other clouds that you run into?
Another cloud on title that we routinely deal with on the residential side would be issues with probate, and they mainly take three forms. The first one would be the undiscovered will. So after somebody dies who owns property, the family members will typically get together and sell the property to a new purchaser. And then somewhere down the line, years later usually, there will be the discovery of a will where the property should have gone to another individual or another heir. So at that point, that will become a claim on title. So your insurance policy would protect you from that type of a claim. Another one would be an unknown heir. So similar kind of a situation, the property is sold, the probate court believes they've noticed all the heirs, and it turns out there was an unknown heir somewhere that could possibly have a claim on your title. And then the third one would be just a incorrect probate process. So a lot of times families do not use an attorney to go through the process, and there are several things you need to do to be able to sell property when someone has passed away. So we find ourselves as title agents and underwriters routinely having to go back through the probate process to obtain those corrections.
We hear a lot about fraud these days. What are the types of fraud or things like fraud that you run into in the title side?
Most frequently, we run into forged deeds or fraudulently executed discharges or releases. So with the forged deeds, the Registry of Deeds have gotten very good at noticing when things don't look right, but things get through and get recorded, and that later will, when the owner of the property goes to sell, is only then they will find out that there is a forged deed out there.
Wow. What kind of things are excluded from title policies? What kind of things don't you cover?
There's several exclusions, and I'd be happy to kind of go over in our part two.
Yeah.
The policy jacket will list exclusions from the policy. Anything like fraudulent activity, anything that's unrecorded will not be covered, such as easements. or any agreements. There could be a mortgage with a family owner that was never recorded, so that would not be covered. Yeah.
How do you do the research necessary to clear up some of these things?
It starts with the title exam. So before a title commitment is issued, we have in-house examiners that examine the property and the title, and they will list on the commitment anything that needs to be resolved prior to the transaction being closed.
Great. You know, we've heard, some of our customers have heard, and I've heard of a word called Eagle policy. Can you explain what that is?
Absolutely. An Eagle policy is, we underwrite with First American, so the Eagle policy product that they offer is a type of a policy. It's still an owner's policy, but it provides enhanced coverage. So for a very nominal fee, you receive more coverage than you would with a standard owner's policy. As we mentioned earlier, there are exceptions to the standard owner's policy, and with the Eagle policy, some of those exceptions are removed. So I'll give you an example of something that we commonly see. With a residential property, one of the excluded areas would be anything that a survey would have shown us. An example would be if there were some rose bushes. You purchase a property and they have beautiful rose bushes as part of the property. You buy the property, you move in, and a couple months later, your neighbor starts taking down those rose bushes because they're on his property. So that would be an example where you could file a claim and the Eagle policy would protect you and would give you the, whatever your loss is, it would provide you with that.
Well, thank you, Renee, for coming here today. We'll actually do a part 2 and cover some more of the common types of title issues that Renee helps clean up. She does most of my title work. So this has been Norm Warner with Norm's Real Estate Tips. Join us again next time. We'll have part 2 with Renee on the title issues. And Renee, thank you for coming today.
You're welcome. Thank you, Norm, for having me.